Hello, one, and welcome to Battle of the Beast Transformation Takedown, episode number 28. I'm Adam, and today we got the second and final battle of the semi-finals of this tournament. So, this is Series 6 of the Battle of the Beast tournament, and quite frankly, this has been I would say one of the better tournaments, really. To sum it all up, we had 30 beasts starting off. Some were obviously not going to make it. Others made it further than I thought they would. I mean, Styro made it to round 2. But, we had some good battles. Lots of good battles, really. Even the ones which I thought weren't really that great. I would say they're still good. But most of them were great battles. There were some kind of okay battles, but they were at the start in round 1, where it's really good that they were the bad battles. But then we move on, get closer and closer to the end, and now we're at the penultimate battle of this entire tournament, where we have two beasts ready to fight. So let's introduce them. Representing Series 10, Master of the Beast, the killer of Ospira, the Savage Sorceress in round 1. Equalness, the Spirit Horse in round 2. I definitely did not just forget that. Hyrix the Rock Smasher in round 3. I am not forgetting this on purpose, I promise. And Hyrix the Rock Smasher in round 3. This beast is the last of the Knights of Forton to fight in this tournament. And the second one to go against the Ghoul of the Shadows. We have Lustor, the Acid Dart, versus his opponent. Representative of Series 13, the Warrior's Road. As I already said, he's the Ghoul of the Shadows, the killer of Zirkin the Shapestealer in round 1, Leptika the Nocturnal Nightmare in round 2, and Noctilla the Death Owl in round 3. This beast has done incredible to make it this far, and probably everyone's favourite to win. But the question is, will he win? Well, this video will answer whether he even makes it to the finals. But with that, it is, of course, Koba, Ghoul of the Shadows. So Lustor versus Koba. Well, honestly, this is a great matchup. I love both of these beasts, and the fact that they're going against each other is incredible to me. I love it. But ultimately, I know one of them needs to win. One of them is going to go on the finals and face its opponent. And it's already building up to be a great finals, and we already know one. One beast is already through. So, brilliant. But with that, we're going to get to the stats, and then we're going to go to the battlefield, and then we're going to get into the battle. So with that, I'll see you at the stats. Lustor the Acid Dart. From his hiding place among the moss and rocks, Lustor emerges to reveal a toad-like face covered in warts. He has eyes like a fish and a long curling tongue. Beneath his throat is a sack filled with a bright orange liquid that sprays and jets, burning through flesh. Age 328, power 235, magic level 159, fright factor 85, size 247. Powers and abilities: acid manipulation, enhanced strength, heat and lava resistance, limited camouflage, and natural weaponry, as well as the ability to transform to and from the Red Knight of Forton at will. Weaknesses is no acid resistance and a pierceable throat sac. Koba, Ghoul of the Shadows. At the end of the Warrior's Road, Tom encountered this terrifying shapeshifter. His true form is of a muscular, genie-like beast with huge clawed hands, but this ghoul delights in changing into other forms to weaken the resolve of heroes and adventurers who cross his path. Age 400, power 280, magic level 184, fright factor 93, size 140. Powers and abilities: shapeshifting, memory reading and ability replication, natural weaponry, limited levitation, master deceiver, fear and doubt empowerment, control of the arena, corruption, and resurrection. Equipment: Koba wields any equipment that is, any weapons or equipment that is given to him from the beast that he transforms into, which, by the way, are the following: Kamar, the Faceless Beast, Sultra, the Stone Charmer, Krokol, the Father of Fear, Cressa, the Winged Terror, Skra, the Night Scavenger, Zirkin, the Shapestealer, Leptika, the Nocturnal Nightmare, and Noctilla, the Death Owl. Weaknesses is wound retainment and finger removal. Okay, so we've done the stats for Lustor the Acid Dart and Koba the Ghoul of the Shadows. And now the battlefield will be a swampy, marshy arena. And with that, let's get into this amazing matchup, honestly. As the chamber doors open, the Red Knight makes his way out of the chamber and sees the swampy arena before him. Putting his hands together like this, he realizes he's in his element. As he quickly changes into Lustor, dives into the watery depths below, and just lurks in the water, waiting for his victim. Meanwhile, on the other side of the arena, Koba immediately comes out, spraying out a foggy mist that surrounds the whole arena. As not Koba makes his way out, but the spectators see the silhouette of the stone charmer herself, Sultra. Immediately, Koba as Sultra starts singing a wayward song, trying to lure the unsuspecting victim in. He starts singing, trying to get Lustor's attention, knowing who his opponent is. He starts singing the alluring song. Lustor hears this and pokes his head out to see mist all around him. And he gets entranced by this, but knowing this might be a trap, he sprays up a jet of acid coming out towards where the sound's coming from. As Sultra looks up and sees the spray of acid, the singing immediately stops, and then Creta forms. Sultra changes into Creta, immediately going into the swarm form to avoid as much of the acid as possible. Some gets dissolved by it, but that is okay. The mist immediately clears up from all the wing beats from the stabias, dissipating the mist, as Creta forms up, roars into the arena towards Lustor, who Lustor immediately gets up in an attacking stance, roars into the arena, looking up to the sky before spraying another jet of acid. Creta immediately changes into Leptica and dives side to side, avoiding all the acid jets before coming up towards Lustor. Lustor changes into the Red Knight, using a sword, slashes the Leptica away. Leptica screeches as she's flying into the wall of the arena. But as Leptica slams to the arena, the knight sees that the wings start to retreat inwards and the skin starts bubbling, becoming slightly smaller, and then Zircon appears. The wounds on Zircon starts healing up, and Zircon just menacingly laughs maniacally, staring into the wall before turning his head completely around with the maniacal grin on his face, pointing at the Red Knight, saying, "You thought you could just kill me like that? That's not gonna work, is it?" Zircon makes his way down from the wall of the arena, makes his way up towards the Red Knight in the middle of the swampy marshes. The Red Knight instantly turns into Lustor, sprays a jet of acid towards Zircon. Zircon just walks right through it, ignoring the pain before instantly healing back up. The pain doesn't bother him anyway. Zircon just stares into him as he makes his way along, dragging his claws along the ground, and says, "You seem to thrive in this environment. Let's see what happens if that changes." Suddenly, like magic, the environment starts to shift around Lustor. Lustor sees this before trees start sprouting up through the ground. The water disappears completely, and up comes ferny, grassy terrain below him. Lustor sees himself in a forest arena and staring right at, and as he stops paying attention to the arena, he stares back at Zircon, who's gone, completely gone. Unbeknownst to Lustor, Zircon has changed into Noctilla and is hiding in one of the trees, staring down towards Lustor. Before appearing for Lustor, wings up, saying, "Lustor, don't worry, it's me. It's fine. We're a team, remember? You don't need to kill me, okay? We're both here to tackle this beast." Lustor, confused by this, thinking, why is there 2-on-1? Lets his guard down and makes his way up to Noctilla. As Lustor reverts back to his night form, Noctilla stays in his beast form, saying, "Don't worry, I'm not going to attack you, okay? You don't need to worry about this, okay? We're going to tackle this beast together. This beast's name is Koba. He is a menace in this tournament. He's been killing beasts left and right." Lustor then realizes Noctilla's dead. Before unsheathing his sword, raises a slash at Noctilla. Noctilla, giving up with the charade, grabs onto the knight with her talons, flame resistant, might I add, and takes up to the sky, pulling the knight upwards. The knight is slashing at Noctilla's talons, but the Noctilla grabs the sword from with her other talon and chucks it towards the ground, laughing, saying, "You think this is going to be so easy, don't you? Well, you are delusional, aren't you? Let's see if you can fly." And Noctilla lets the knight go, falling towards the ground. Noctilla was like, falling into trees is a bit boring. I know. Let's change that. Suddenly, the arena starts to change again, trees shrinking back into the ground, and lava pools start emerging all over the arena. Before Noctilla's just laughing crazily before making her way down to the ground and changing into Skra the Night Scavenger, waiting for the night to fall. The knight changes into Lustor, trying to get a safe landing as he falls into a lava pool and comes up, rising from the water, from the lava, dripping with lava. Skra stares at this, thinking, impressive. You can take lava, can you? Well, let's see if you can take this much heat. He charges up towards Lustor. Lustor goes to slash at him, but dodges it, wraps his tongue around him, and pulls him in. Skra just laughs, growling maniacally. Lustor sees that the fur on Skra's back is starting to prick up with purple sparks. Lustor realizes what's about to happen, and wanting to show off his own capabilities, he digs his claws into Skra and just says, "I dare you, do it." Before Skra immediately bursts into a ball of purple fire, engulfing both of them, shrouding the entire arena in steam and smoke. The spectators can't see a thing. As Skra looks directly at Lustor, Lustor seems completely unfazed before grabbing Skra by the head and throwing Skra to the wall of the arena, slamming Skra into the wall. Skra yelps in pain before turning into Zircon, healing from the wounds, and then turning back into Cressa. Cressa charges up towards Lustor. Lustor dives into the lava pool behind him, thinking that surely bugs can't attack him there. Boy, was he wrong. Then Cressa instantly forms up and dives into the lava pool. Lustor, caught off guard by this, goes to slash the beast, but the beast just grabs him and starts going inside of him. Lustor writhing around in pain, trying to get out of the lava, trying to get the bugs out of him. He's writhing around in pain, and all he hears is the maniacal laughter of what he thought was Zircon, but turns out to be Koba, as Cressa is now completely inside of him, writhing around his body, eating his innards. He reverts back to his night form, trying to slam himself into the arena, trying to get the bugs out, but it's not working. Eventually the bugs do come out, and the knight is on the floor just gasping for breath, feeling like his whole innards has just been eaten. He reverts back to Lustor, struggling to breathe, as Cressa forms up in her full glory against the wall of the arena, just staring at this beast, see what he will do next, before turning to Kamar and shooting a web around Lustor's wrists, binding them together, and then binding the arms to the chest. Lustor can now only walk around, but Kamar's not a big fan of that. Changed into Kroko, shoots gunk or goo directly towards the floor, binding Lustor to the ground. Lustor knows if he changed into his night form, he will still be trapped. He is now trapped. He shoots out his tongue to try and grab Kroko. Kroko gets Lustor's tongue wrapped around his wrist, and Kroko just looks at Lustor and says, "Cute." Grabs onto the tongue before breaking it instantly and biting into it, pulling the tongue off of his wrist with his mouth, eating it. Lustor stares in shock at this as Kroko just eats a bit of him, and Kroko just says, tasty. How does the rest of you taste? Before instantly jumping down towards Lustor, changing into Koba at the same time, laughing maniacally at him before slashing at his face, gouging out one of Lustor's eyes. Koba grabs the eye and just stares into Lustor's other eye, laughing maniacally as he's about to eat this eye. Just laughing crazily as he's about to eat this eye, dangling it almost tauntingly above his mouth before he lets go and swallows the eye. Lustor stares in shock at this disgustingness of this beast. Before he gets an idea, he builds up acid in his throat and shoots it out towards Koba. Koba sees this and quickly changes into Creta, dodging as much of the acid as he can, before changing into Leptica behind Lustor and charging up towards him, knocking him over, pushing him over, binding him entirely to the gunk or goo that was sprayed by Kroko. Lustor trying to shake himself free can't, and as he's facing the ground, his blood dripping out of his eye as now as it's been plucked out. Lustor completely doesn't know what to do. Leptica stands on top of Lustor, digging her claws from her talons into him, for lifting up her other claws and just digging them into Lustor's back and digging repeatedly into his back. Leptica laughing crazily, shouting, "Let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in," digging into Lustor's back. Lustor is screaming in pain over this, but can't do anything, knowing if he returns back to his night form, he's going to be just as trapped and just as screwed. Eventually, Lustor is feeling that his innards are being torn out from Leptica just digging into him, as Leptica continues to say, "Let me in," repeatedly and repeatedly. Eventually, Lustor's getting more and more erratic with his breathing, gasping for breath, struggling to breathe, and suddenly Leptica just stops. Lustor left on the edge of death, just gasping for breath, as he looks up and sees Noctilla just staring down at his one eye. And as Noctilla comes down towards Lustor's eyesight, just says, "You were always the weakest of us all," before she lifts up a claw and slashes out Lustor's other eye, and using her other talon, digs it right into Lustor's throat sac and pulls out a good chunk. Blood instantly starts gushing out of Lustor, and any life in Lustor disappears like that. Noctilla takes up to the sky before changing back into Koba as the red fog emerges. Koba laughing maniacally as he makes his way into his chamber, before stopping at the entrance and changing into Lustor, showing the audience about that it is Koba with the green eye in him. Spurts up a jet of acid as the acid lands on top of Lustor's corpse as Lustor's body dissolves into nothingness. As Koba snaps his fingers, the arena changes to the Fallen Kingdom arena as Koba says, "Let's see how Texan faces against me," laughing maniacally as he disappears into the chamber. So with that, Koba's won, Lustor's lost. You think Lustor should have won? Please comment below. You think that how my words final and Koba's moving on to the finals. So with that, honestly, a great matchup. I had so much fun with this battle. Ultimately, though, I can't see how Lustor could beat Koba. And whilst it would be an even fight if Koba had less beasts to transform into, ultimately it comes down to Koba having a very diverse selection of beasts that he can transform into. And now he has a beast that can swim. Not great, might I add, but still a beast that can swim. That's scary, honestly. Koba can now transform into 9 beasts. So the creative options I have for the finals now is scary in this one beast. And ultimately, though, yeah, I think Koba was going to win this semi-finals battle. Lustor did stand a chance with the acid jets, but with Creta being able to go into the swarm form and then going into Zircon to heal any wounds that's gained from other attacks, there was no chance for him. And then once he was bounded down, that was it. He can't get out. His forms of attack got defeated very quickly, and Koba became a psychopath. He ate one of Lustor's eyes, and then continues to dig into Lustor's back, laughing maniacally and saying, "Let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in." honestly, I don't know if you're picking up on this, but Koba is doing a lot of references to Sin from Murder Drones, and that is cool but terrified at the same time. So yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to this finals. We now have our final two beasts, and quite frankly, this is the right final two in my opinion. We of course have Tecton the Armored Giant versus Koba, Ghoul of the Shadows, in the next video, which will be the finale of this series. Till then, I've been Adam, and this has been Battle of the Beast Transformation Takedown. Till then, peace out.